I'm going to try to talk about both of these countries in one segment instead of making them separate, because if you've been paying attention, Australia and New Zealand have had some of the most authoritarian rules, if you will, going full police state when it comes to COVID-19. They have been leading the charge on that with very strenuous lockdowns and with vaccines and how those are implemented. Like, they've been really leading the charge, leading the rest of the world. Unfortunately, if you live out in spots like where I'm at, in the United States, you have people that actually try to strive for that. Like, people that have nerve to say, well, they are how we should do it, because all they look at is, well, numbers. There's a lot going on right now. We're going to go through it all. And like I said, I'll bounce around about, what's going on. Let's start with kind of what's going on with Australia, because they are like holy cow. Australia is something else. We're going to listen in on what this some sort of law enforcement officer is saying about this is coming out of Australia, if I'm not mistaken. It's saying what's going on in there and what they're going to do.
Australian Defence Force and New South Wales Police working together on the back of contact tracing information. Went to a home in southwest Sydney yesterday morning and found a person that should be there.
Sorry if it's kind of low.
They made a number of inquiries, and not that long after, that person returned to the front of the house in a motor vehicle. That person was spoken to by police, and ADF was issued a penalty infringement notice, stated that he'd hopped in his car and went out for some fresh air and hadn't been anywhere else. But the point is that if you are going to behave like this, yesterday over 2,300 houses visited. If you're going to behave like this,
by the way, this guy is basically saying you guys need to be listening to us, and he's saying that they went in yesterday alone in the 2,300 houses, if I'm not mistaken. So they're doing like house visits to ensure that you are following these rules.
Step outside the health orders, you will be checked on, and you will get an infringement notice, and that person will continue to be checked on and make sure that they comply. There was another incident. The fact that we're even here and people think that that's okay in terms of a response for something with a 99% survival rate is just, it's believable. It is believable. Australia also, trying to stick to it. They are building what is effectively a concentration camp, a quarantine camp. As mentioned right here, Tom from, what is this, The Age? Construction is underway in Melbourne's Centre for National Resilience, the unwieldy name given to a quarantine facility in Mickleham. So it's called the Melbourne Centre for National Resilience, with the camp set to open by the end of the year. A community engagement session was held earlier this week on progress of fast-tracked 1,000-bed accommodation for returning travelers. However, residents were told that builders would not be delayed by any consultation process. Earthworks have begun at empty paddock in Melbourne's north, which sits next to the federal government's pet quarantine facility and is about 300 meters from homes. The project is modeled on the Howard Springs Center in the Northern Territory, which has proven to be highly effective. So it looks like we've done these concentration camps, and it's been highly effective. Calling it hotel, it's pretty language. Hotel quarantine and stuff. Multiplex has been engaged to construct a facility with 80% of buildings to be prefabricated off-site. The center can be extended to 3,000 beds, but will be operational as soon as 500 are ready later this year. So they're building another facility That is, again, it is basically a concentration camp where they're going to house all of those quarantine. Locals were assured the facility would follow the highest infection control standards set by Howard Springs, with staff fully vaccinated and unable to work second jobs. We want the community to know what's going on here. We want the community to be a part of that program. Of course, you want people to snitch on their neighbors, I'm sure, as well, to make sure that they're going off to be sent to the what is it called? To the Melbourne Center for National Resilience. Right now, New Zealand, let's kind of move a little bit. What's going on in New Zealand? One COVID case, that's all it took. One positive COVID case in New Zealand. And they're doing a full national lockdown. Now, we need to, again, go hard and early. The Prime Minister said, this is a jackass. Main points. New Zealand is going back into lockdown after a single suspected Delta case in the community. 58-year-old man tested positive with no immediate evidence that he traveled abroad. And so because they want to deal with it early, here we are. New Zealand is back in a strict national lockdown after one 58-year-old man tested positive with no immediate evidence that he traveled. Officials assume that the infection was caused by the highly infectious Delta coronavirus variant. National statistics suggest that all of New Zealand's cases since February have been detected at its border rather than in the community. The country of nearly 5 million people has recorded just 26 COVID-19 deaths since the start of the pandemic, and has favored strict lockdowns, which that's the case that so many people are making. Damn the issues that come with it. Definitely mental issues, health issues that come with these lockdowns. You only had X amount of deaths, therefore it was worth it, according to them. Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern said in a briefing on Tuesday that Delta, which had caused all but one of New Zealand's COVID-19 infections since late June, was a game changer. It means we need to again go hard and early to stop the spread. We have seen what can happen elsewhere if we fail to get on top of it, and by that means other countries that are trying to at least some way get on with their fucking lives. From midnight. And I think this is more of an ego trip than anything. Definitely when you have other countries referring to your country as a country for something to strive for, then you push for stuff like this, right? I do believe that world leaders are cocky enough to do that shit. Like, hey, look at me. They said we did a good job, so we have to continue to double down with this very disastrous policy. From midnight on Tuesday, New Zealanders can only leave the house for exercise, supermarket shopping, and essential medical care, including pharmacy visits, and for getting a test. So all the other leisure shit that you do, all the stuff that they deem is not essential, basically, you can't go out. And when you go out, you must be in a mask. This is New Zealand's second level 4 lockdown is what they're calling it. And it's the nation's strictest. So they're in the strictest lockdown. Stay in your house. Don't move unless you're getting food, and make sure you have that face diaper on. Look, the reason why I wanted to bring this up, because I just want to bring it into perspective for people that live like in my country as well as other countries who have had the benefit of not having as many lockdowns or as many strict rules. These are what these countries are doing that brainlet that you're arguing back and forth with on Twitter, who says, look at Australia and look at New Zealand. That's what they're advocating for. Concentration camps and mass forms of very strict lockdowns. That's what they want. Ruin your life or ruin your business. You are not allowed to be a free individual because you may potentially, possibly, I don't know, pass something along that has a 99% survival rate. And those communities, definitely with Australia, we know how they feel about guns. And some would argue that that's why they're in this position. But to be fair, you get in some pockets in America that are dealing with the same thing. And it really does not end. These people that are on a power trip, these government officials who really don't see they don't even follow their own rules, but they don't see really the true impact of their own policy because they're exempted from it. They're shielded from it. It doesn't stop until the mass or the majority of people within these areas say, you know what, no more. I hate for us to get in a situation like that in America, but they are pressing. And we know what's going on in New York City. And they continue to, just when you think that, okay, this is where the buck stops, they say, no, we're going to continue to keep this going. So it doesn't end until the people within that area, whether it be in New Zealand, whether it be in New York City, whether it be in Australia, say, you know what? No more.
You just watched a clip from our podcast, For Canon's Sake. Catch us live at 12 p.m. throughout the week over at youtube.com/YoungRipper59 and follow us over at odyssey.com/@YoungRipper59. If you want to watch the entire video cast after the show is over, just be sure to become a member on the YouTube channel. Of course, the full audio portion of the podcast is available for free on all major digital platforms, or just visit forcanonsake.com.